everyone, we are starting a new series of Hangouts discussions on Earth Haven Foundation. Earth Haven Foundation is going to be discussed thoroughly in this specific Hangout discussion that we're going to have. And today our guest is the founder himself, Gian Robberts. Hi Gian, welcome.
Hi Garb, thank you for hosting this Hangout.
No
I
problem.
appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome. Okay, so let's just get in. We're going to go over just the simplistic, basic questions, the who, what, where, when, why of Earth Haven. And without further ado, let's start with the first one. Who is Earth Haven?
Who is Earth Haven? Earth Haven is anyone that decides to walk with Earth Haven. Earth Haven is people from all over the world. Currently, we have 97 people that is supporting Earth Haven and actually making it possible through our Patreon page. And everyone that's there understands what Earth Haven is about. Everyone understands how it works, and also the vision, the mission, and the principle of Earth Haven for what we want to create.
Cool.
So yeah, basically, who is whoever decides that they want to create a different world and that they want to stand with, either actively, meaning you're making videos, you're promoting it, sharing it, or you're supporting for us to, or other people to do that through the financial support. So who is really anyone and everyone who can join and stand with. There's no followers, there's no hierarchy system. It's literally Earth Haven and people of the earth standing together and moving points together for a sustainable future. It's based for all.
Awesome, cool. Well, thanks for explaining that. So let's get into the what is Earth Haven? What is Earth Haven?
All right, so Earth Haven, the idea is we create a online community that implements sustainable communities in the physical, in different locations across the world. And within that, we start empowering ourselves in the physical, on the ground, with nature, with people, to start being a physical example of how we can change internally as people, at the same time change our living within this reality. So currently our first Earth Haven community is here, situated in South Africa. And once we're done with this one, we move on to the next one and the next one. So it's very important for people to understand that it's first and foremost starting and developing online, so that we can have the support, so that we can have the structure to actually in the physical start setting up communities. And these communities are not just going to stop there, where we create a franchise of sustainability that becomes global. But in the end, from my part, I would like to use that support structure to go politically, to become politically active globally as well. So we can actually start influencing the world more in a political arena as well. Because then you already have an online secure group that regardless of where we are, we're always together, always standing together. And then you have your physical communities on the ground that does the hard work, that does the work that's required to be done. And then you have a whole support structure that we can move forward in this world to bring effective change in all areas of life. We're talking here about education, mental, physical, we're talking about food, you're talking about water, you're talking about the air you breathe, we're talking about everything. So this is what we want to tackle, and in the end to have basic human rights met. So we want to push those points. And I've made multiple videos that people can watch where I call it Earth Insurance. And there's a couple of videos that we can link in this video for people to see what is the theory, and that we have started applying, because we have already our first community in action. So obviously more support, the faster we move with this, and the faster we can become a force to be reckoned with in this reality.
Awesome. So you've got quite high goals and big goals for Earth Haven.
Yes, yeah, no, I mean, the world is big, and
yeah,
you have to consider everyone. So obviously we start with the small. You'll see me in my videos fixing a roof, planting some vegetables, giving water to people that need water. You'll see me do the small things and at the same time promoting the big things, because I'm showing that it's in the small that you create the big. And that's how our motto or our saying at Earth Haven is $1, one vote. And we need 1 million people, because it's in the small that we accumulate the big. And that's how you start having an effect and a change in this reality.
Sweet. Very cool. What is the difference between, say, Earth Haven Foundation and a charity that already exists that's similar?
I have met charity people and I've seen what they do, and well, my difference is very slight, if I can put it that way. First of all, when I don't want to mention names. That's why I'm being careful here. I don't want to, shoot someone else in the leg by mentioning the charities' names that I visited. But my goal is to not stop till it's done, and to not do things where I just create a security for everyone involved in Earth Haven. This is where other charities get stuck in, because they have families, they have financial needs they have to meet, and they kind of get trapped in that part of the charity they're running instead of running the charity. So it becomes about their salaries, their retirements, their children's education, their own lives start taking over instead of the charity being moved. And many charities only tackle problems from the current capitalism mindset or communism mindset. So everything is still tackled in the sense of survival. So the charities that I've went to, it is ridiculous how they're trying to help the people, because it doesn't make any sense. It's like they're there to help, but the people still need to suffer before they learn certain lessons, instead of them just paying for the things and giving them the things they need and getting it done with. So there's a lot of justification still in why charities are doing things they're doing, because the people need to fit into the system, they need to fit into society, they need to fit into the economic model that's there, which is never going to happen. You might as well just create a sustainable setup for them with the money you're receiving, and within that teach them how to maintain that sustainable system, and then let them live off of that. Don't try and force them into the economic system, because it's not going to happen. There isn't enough job, there isn't enough markets, there isn't enough anything for most of people in poverty, for example, to just fit into the system. Either the system has to unconditionally provide, or you need to, in the meantime, provide for them unconditionally as a charity, and let them stand on their own 2 feet with what you already give them. Not expect them to give it to themselves somehow, and to build it themselves somehow, and to somehow acquire the knowledge, and somehow acquire everything. All you as a charity is doing is watching and guiding, and yeah, the things I've seen is ridiculous, and it actually motivated me more to become what we are. But to be very clear, Earth Haven is not a charity. It's not a charity. There's a big difference between a movement and a charity. You don't give us money for charity. You give us money because you're moving with us, this movement. You're giving us money because you are part of that movement. So there's no charity where you just throw money at someone and leave. You give your money as a commitment. You give your money as a commitment to see this through with everyone that's here. It's not, here's my money for charity, take care of poor people. I'm going to expect from people that join us to stand at some point, to mean something at some point, to actually be a vote that matters. And there's no charity. We're not giving things for free. We're not just buying stuff and giving for free. We're providing the material, the resources, yes. We're providing everything. So we don't have people to survive, somehow make it. There's no charity here. It's a movement. So that's how we have to also be clear that Earth Haven isn't a charity.
Yeah. So you're saying more it's an all-encompassing point that you are trying to develop. It's not specific to one cause like sustainable farming or education for children. It's more you're actually trying to create a community where all of these things are incorporated into this community and developed through their more growth, kind of.
Yes.
Cool.
You see, it's the baseline setup is an Earth Haven as a community has to become a heart. All right, what does a heart do? It pumps blood to all the other organs, to the whole body, so that all the other parts can live. So Earth Havens, wherever they are, must become a heart with the earth. You see, it's almost the same word.
Yeah.
And from that, you provide, because you can't change cultures, you can't change people's way of living, but you can provide them blood, such as the heart can provide blood to the kidney. You can change the kidney to its own heart. You know? So you have to be practical and considerate within this. So Earth Havens become a heart. It will provide any and all support needed if people are accepting and allowing it. You know, some cultures will, for example, condemn someone intervening in their current struggles because to them it will be disrespectful or dishonorable. So, you know, you have to, it's a very fine line between how you help people too. So we are just independently setting up communities that becomes a heart unconditionally, and we will show everyone here's help, here's education, here's food, here's everything as this heart. Let us know what you need and we'll pump it towards you. And then you will use that and it will circulate back to us. So in the end, you create a symbiotic relationship, you know? And with this, you don't force people, you don't force the environments, you don't force anything because that doesn't work. So you have to integrate into the environment and become a heart within that environment. And therefore, every Earth Haven community will be unique, but the principles will always remain the same: to live and do what's best for all life, and to function within the principle of oneness and equality. So this is how we will function. That makes us flexible, but always pushing to the same, where everyone's basic needs are met: healthy, mentally, physically, good education, you know, and the earth, the animals, the plants, the soil, everything's taken care of. And then to become an educational movement into communities and supporting people, and then becoming a political force on a global level that will be huge in the future.
Very, very cool. Let's quickly discuss the point you mentioned about principles. You say Earth Haven has specific principles. What are the principles that you're developing this foundation from or movement?
Okay, so the principles are very, very simple, really. It's not like anything complicated. It is the basic message.
But they're specific, very specific.
They are very specific, yes. And it's, first of all, give as you would like to receive. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Do unto others as you would like to be done unto. And then to always live what's best for all life. So how do you implement this in different cultures, in different religions, in different races, in different anything? Well, those basic rules apply. It doesn't matter where you go and what you want to do. So when people stand with Earth Haven, they're also voting for those principles to physically manifest, to become a manifestation within this world. And this is how we all would like to experience this earth. This is how we all like to live. And it doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what background you have, doesn't matter what. If you are with Earth Haven, you're voting for that. So in the end, wherever you set up a community, you will train people, regardless of their color, their culture, regardless of anything, you will put those principles into the community, which will then overflow into the rest of the world. So anyone that participates in the community will immediately be within those principles, and they will experience it because people in the communities will be trained, they will understand it, they will live through it in a very practical way. So how you live it is how you work with the soil, how you work with animals, how you work with anything you do, how you wash your dishes, how you make food, how you interact with other people, and therefore also know thyself, which is another quote. You must always know yourself. So when you react, you look, I'm reacting. Okay, so how would I like to do unto myself? How would I like to be done unto myself towards someone else? So I would first take responsibility for my reaction, and then I'll go speak to someone else. Because I wouldn't like someone else to come to me in a reaction and screaming and yelling at me and condemning me, and then more conflict arises from that. I would like someone else to come to me in a calm, cool manner, non-personal, and explain to me, hey, I reacted to this point. I would like to know if you could please clean up after yourself. Things like that. And yeah, so when you take it into everything that's based for all, then you really have to widen your perception and perspective of reality. You have to really start considering everything you're doing and how you're doing it and how you're going to change it to be a sustainable way of living. Because the only sustainable way in this world is the best for all way. There is no other sustainable way. That's impossible. So how do you eradicate poverty? How do you do all of that? Is to give as you would like to receive. So how would you like nature to take care of you? Is to give as you would like to receive. You always have to give more without expecting to receive. So our nature has to change to giving, and therefore a forgiving nature. So the principle is always live what's best for all life. So always check yourself, question yourself, look at what you're doing, and ask yourself, is this best for all life? Is what I'm doing, is who I am, best for all life? Doesn't matter if you're a Christian, Muslim, Islam, it doesn't matter. Just check with that point. Is what I'm doing best for all life? And is it what I would like to be done unto myself? Is it how I would like to receive? And then move with those principles. So that's the point that we would like to show people in the physical how it's lived, and to guide, and to, in the end, create a world that functions within best for all life.
Nice. Very, very cool. Well explained. Also, next point, let's go to the next question. Where is Earth Haven?
Earth Haven is, as I stated before, it is everywhere. But, it's an online community. That's the whole point. Because you want to bring the earth together. You want to bring people together. So first and foremost, we created online. And from online, with the support we have, we create it on the earth. So it rains down onto the earth. And we create Earth Havens. So Earth Haven is currently, and will always be, first and foremost on the internet to move in the physical. The reason I say this is, if I say Earth Haven is just South Africa, then tomorrow a storm strips away this community and Earth Haven doesn't exist anymore. That's not how it works. So you have to create Earth Haven in a way that if I die tomorrow, it must still be able to stand.
Yeah.
So it cannot fall with me. It cannot fall with one place, because my idea is in 20 years from now, when we get politically strong and we want to move into political area, if I get assassinated or something, then it shouldn't affect Earth Haven at all. Earth Haven should just be there, like this entity that people cannot really touch, but it will be all over the earth.
Cool.
And I answer the question like that because I have had personal messages saying to me and saying, Gian, what if you get assassinated? So yeah, that's how I answer that question.
So you're looking at it pretty practically. I mean, online, and then as the funding comes in, it will pour into the communities that are supposed to be set up globally around the world, whoever wants to participate.
Yeah. If I get $1 billion tomorrow, then tomorrow there will be 100 Earth Haven communities all over the earth.
Cool.
That's an example. It's not like Earth Haven is just here. So it's all dependent on the support we receive and how fast we can move. Currently, the first place is here in South Africa, and this is what we're moving with. Our first project to show everyone it works. And the people here has already lived for 10 years, self-change, internal change, you know, through the destiny process. So now it's time we take it a step further into the physical. And actually, while we're here, in 2 weeks, our first participant for the Earth Haven course will be arriving here as a surprise for everyone.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So people will, like, this person's gonna stay for 3 months, and it's gonna be on a very tight course schedule.
Cool.
For how this person will be moving for 3 months in a very specific course. And we will have some pretty cool feedback, I believe, once this person is done, to give everyone a show that this works.
So this person that's coming, is he wants to set up his own Earth Haven, or why would you come to Earth Haven in South Africa? Or like, yeah.
First of all, he's coming to Earth Haven, South Africa, because he needs to change his life. He needs to change his direction. He needs to find a way to express himself in this world. And essentially, yes, this is what he wants to do. But we are not there yet as Earth Haven to employ people like that, or to give more people opportunity like that. Until we grow bigger, then we can bring more people in for courses, and we can empower more people in Earth Haven communities across the globe. Because you want to have an Earth Haven in America. So people don't have to migrate to South Africa just to be in an Earth Haven community, you know?
Yeah.
People can come here, they can stay here for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. They can enjoy it, but it will be much more convenient if you can take 50 people from America and just send them to a location in America, and you know, everyone there works together. And then in Europe and Asia, China, name it, all the countries, Canada, Australia, and you just in the end want to have Earth Haven communities everywhere, so that people that join and come for courses, when they leave, they know in their country there is a community that they've now trained for. They come to the course, they've learned, they practiced, they have seen how it works, and they can go and apply themselves in that community that should be sustainable by them. It should have housing, it should have food set up, water set up, solar panel, or sustainable electricity set up. So the cost of living is reduced extensively, so that you can have a small business running on, or you can have people that does little jobs, random jobs, just to pay the rent or the tax and so on. And then the rest is self-sustainable, and you do your missions. Missions will be providing food for those in need, building houses for those in need, or maintaining certain aspects of society, helping people with mental problems, physical problems. It will be also involving unschooling, homeschooling. So you will have facilities for those people, so they can bring their children there, learn, develop, and mothers can come together, fathers can come together. You will have mechanics, you'll have artists, you'll have musicians, you'll have everything, just developing a new society and spreading from that into the world in a very safe place and a very cool environment.
Yeah.
And then you will also have a lot of land with every single community that is specifically dedicated to wildlife, nature. So you will have people that take on the tasks of rehabilitating environments, reintroducing animals, taking care of the animals, and you'll make always certain that 70% of the property you have is wildlife. So whatever you're buying or that we're getting in a country for an Earth Haven, 70% has to be wildlife. The reason is, without nature, you cannot exist. And without nature, you cannot exist in a sustainable way. So nature always has to outweigh human activity. That's just how it has to be. So we have to start implementing that into a mental and then into a physical understanding of humans, that you cannot destroy this planet and take it over as much as you want, because we're literally killing it right now. So we need to start shifting that to show people that we need to use our intelligent brains to figure out how we can plant 10 tons of food in a very small space. That's That's our gift. Not to destroy all of nature so we can plant all the food we need. That's stupid. That is against our intelligent design. And we're also destroying our planet for it. So we need to start implementing this on a big scale and so on. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, it makes sense. All right, so when did Earth Haven start?
2016 in December. That's when I officially launched the Patreon page.
Cool.
But already in 2014, I started planning it and looking at it and writing it down and drafting sketches and thinking about it and seeing it and testing out by myself how we're gonna do it and watching videos and lots of videos on lots of different self-sustainable villages, communities, and planting and growing. And I mean, I've literally overloaded myself with YouTube, Google articles, and everything to see if this is possible
Cool.
and what already exists. You know, there's a lot of things that already exist, and Earth Haven, also a point to be clear for everyone, will be a part of the solution, not the entire solution, because we are taking on the part that is missing currently. There's a lot of self-sustainable communities, there's a lot of movements. I believe that if Earth Haven rises and becomes a symbol and also an active participant in this reality, we will call all the other people, all the other communities, all the other points to re-exist, to stand equal to us and to join us.
Cool.
And we will suddenly have an increase of forces.
Yeah.
So Earth Haven isn't going to be the ultimate solution, the only solution. It is in our intention to join everyone else that exists currently, but they're either lacking financial support, they're either lacking recognition, or they are simply lacking their own vision and to see a way forward, or to see a way how to go big and how to actually have impact. Because everyone's trying to follow the system route, which you're gonna fail. If you're relying on one or two people donating all your money to you, you're literally a slave to them. You cannot do as you would like. And therefore you cannot change the world. Because people donating $1 million to you, if one person donates $1 million to you every month, you cannot do anything that will compromise that person's life, you know, by changing the system. Because he will stop you from doing it.
Definitely.
But individuals who's empowered, who understands nature, environment, who believes in life, who believes in change, and who wants to see it, that's what you need backing you up. That's why I say $1, one vote, 1 million people. Everyone can afford $1. No one will miss out too much if you just give $1, you know.
Definitely.
So it's simple, easy, and direct.
Everybody watching this can give $1.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, cool. Very cool. Next question is why, I know you've kind of discussed this throughout the Hangout, but why did you create Earth Haven?
The reason why, let's put it this way. I've spent many years of my life since 2013 till 2016, mid 2016, visiting areas in poverty. And I've made a couple of videos on this. And I've seen children now starve. I've seen people struggle. I've seen what people lack, what people miss. And I've been in the core of it for 3 years here in South Africa. I've seen the education system, the schools that these children have to go to, the hunger, the lack in nutrition, the lack in clothing, the lack in sanitized living space and environment, the lack of parents, the lack of stability, the lack of everything is just rampant in these communities outside the cities. You don't see it in the city. In the city, you see poverty, you see plastic, you see rubbish laying the streets full. You know, you see plastic blowing around in the fields. You see your rivers have oil leaking into it, and you see the oil shining on the river. On your beaches, you see all the plastic, but you don't see the human side of it that's hidden. It's literally in hidden communities, very far out. I mean, I have to drive sometimes 2-3 hours before I reach this community of thousands of people that don't have water or electricity. The school is the only place the kids get food because it's a food program. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I was looking at how can we do anything about it? You know, I'm just one person. I'm just I'm this tiny little thing on this huge planet with all these problems. And I realized that, well, if I'm this tiny, then I have to become big. How do I become big? I can't become big individually. I have to become big as many people. And how do we become big as many people is to be united by one thing, one body. This is Earth Haven. And Earth Haven then has many limbs, many body parts, which will be your communities. So in the end, you create a body that is huge and gigantic all across the Earth that can actually change things. But me individually, I'm just a cell. I'm just a cell in this huge, on this huge Earth. So I need to call all the other cells together so it can form a big body that can start moving within this gigantic universe, and specifically on this planet, to actually change and affect things. And this is through politics. That's why politics is very important in the long run to enter as Earth Haven political party, you know. And we will specifically promote living income guarantee, universal basic income, or equal money system. Depends on what's happening now in the near future, which a lot of events is taking place on the Earth right now. Politically, it's very hot everywhere. A lot of changes coming, but I haven't seen yet anyone actually pushing a real solution besides the current left or right wing solutions. So yeah, I was like, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to start accumulating. We need a magnet, which is Earth Haven. We need to get all the parts together, and then we need to start changing the polar points of the Earth to be that of what's best for all.
Awesome. Very cool. So you mentioned how does people come and support Earth Haven? How do you join? How do you participate? Yeah.
Well, the first point is go to Facebook and look for Earth Haven, and it's got a green symbol.
I'll share the link as well.
And follow our page and follow what I share. I share global stories on the environment, mainly on the environment and animals and so on, because that's a point that I find people can connect to more. Because, for example, what's happening in South Africa, Americans don't really care. Australians don't really care. So me sharing South African political news doesn't affect everyone. But me sharing about nature and the environment affects everyone, because everyone shares the same Earth and everyone can equally connect to that same point of there's problems. You know, so that's why I share mostly things on the environment and Earth. And sometimes I will share political things just to show a climax of what's happening. And then I share a lot of what we do here on the property, our community living, what we're building, the project we're busy with, some interesting things, just fun things, you know, like plants, fruits, what we're learning, what we're doing. And then people can keep up with that. And then we also have our Patreon page, which is where the hardcore people that's really serious about let's do something in this world together, they go to Patreon. And on Patreon, there's a big orange button that says become a Patreon. You click on it and you decide if you want to do a $1 one vote pledge, a $5, $15, so on. And I prefer everyone just go for $1. Just test it out. Don't judge it. Just go, let's test this out. Let's click on that $1 and let's get many $1, and you will see how this changes.
Yeah.
If we just have 1 million people, you already can do so much. Because currently, you know, with the pledges we do have, in the first week or a week and a half, you already spent all the money. You know, if you're looking at all the things we're doing now. So you need to really have a lot of money that can actually last you a month, first of all, to get things done. And then you need money that can go over the month. And that means you're ready for another Earth Haven. Like this money needs to go to another Earth Haven. Then you can actually start expanding, and we can start showing people it's growing, it's happening. And this is what I'm looking forward to the most at the moment, is like that point of showing we're now moving somewhere else as well. So people can go, this is real, this is moving.
Definitely.
But this is still very far from being done. I'm just going to be honest here. We still need to build 4 rooms. We still need to fix up all our fencing that's broken in the fields. We still need to plant and put a lot of compost into the soil. And the current buildings are standing, there's a lot of maintenance is needed, because these buildings are 70, 80 years old. And it's been neglected and abused in the past before we came here. So you have roofs collapsing in, you have holes in the, you have to take care of what you have. And that's a big point that we're currently facing. So that's where we're moving. And then to create, be creative. Set up creative facilities for music, for art, for communal get-togethers, for entertainment, for educational purposes, a computer room. We want to get all these things set up so we can actually start bringing people in and supporting people that's outside the community, and especially with food and water. That's a very basic need that is needed around here for many people.
Very cool. Yeah, and just to give a outside perspective, I mean, $1, if you just pledge $1 a month, it's $12 a year, which is like 3 coffees. I mean, and Gian is someone that is dedicated and putting himself completely into this movement. I mean, if you watch the videos, if you watch his way he shares himself, you see his work ethic, what he does on a daily basis to get these projects moving. I mean, right now, I think there's like 130 trees there, right?
Yeah, it's 130 trees already.
And someone has to go and water all of these trees, and it's not, you don't have a workforce with you. I mean, he's doing everything on his own. He's not getting, I mean, you're not living a normal system life like we are. I mean, we get an income for what we're doing, but you've kind of given up your life for this movement in a sense. And yeah, it's something that is definitely important to check out. And if you're watching this hangout, definitely click on the Facebook link below. Start following Gian and the people that are participating through Facebook, and yeah, just give $1. Let's get 1 million strong and start creating the movement and wave that we need to start changing this reality, because we all see it in our environments. I mean, the poverty, I'm from America, I don't see severe poverty, but there's homeless people in the cities. I see plastic everywhere. I see the rivers having plastic in them and dirt. And so, yeah, I mean, we all see the destruction that's going on in this reality. So this is a solution you can easily join. And yeah, go for it, Gian.
Yeah, so that's really, let me just give another example. For every Earth Haven community that's done, we will have specific missions. So you will have crews of people that will, for example, go out on a weekly basis to beaches, to forests, to protected areas where they can get a permit, first and foremost, and we will clean up those areas of plastic. Then we will have engineers and specialized people to figure out what can we do with the plastic we're picking up in a sustainable way. Otherwise, either we'll make bricks for poor people and give it away for free. Because we're being supported by Patreons, we don't rely on having an income from poor people. So we can literally give and support them. So we can pick up all this plastic, we can make bricks out of it, we can make different things out of it, that we can build houses for people, give them the resources. And then you'll also have teams of people that we will have filters. We will go to dams and ponds and rivers, and we will filter that water, because we know there's crap in it. I mean, you want to see what's in a pond or a dam. You have golf balls, you have fishing line, fishing hooks, you have so many things, and bottles and plastic, the typical stuff that's in ponds, that's in rivers, and you can actually start filtering it out in a safe, clean way without harming the animals and the plants, obviously. But these things need to be done. Then you can also start going to your teams of people, which is, you will have lawyers, you'll have professionals that can go to factories, that can go to all these industries that is in your community and that has air pollution, and you can start taking them on. You can first tell them as a warning that Earth Haven is after you because we are seeing you're poisoning our water. You know, you can see you're poisoning our air. If you don't start figuring out how you're going to regulate this or put filters on or somehow start cleaning and taking responsibility, then we have enough money and financial support to take these people to court, you know, and to start suing them because they are literally destroying your planet and no one gives a dime. I'll give $1, please.
Cool.
You know, so these are missions that we will be doing from every Earth Haven once we're empowered to do that. And if you imagine you have 100 Earth Havens across the Earth, and you have missions like that happening, we're not stopping. You know, we are the white blood cells of the body. We're here to purify and clean, and to hold people accountable on a citizen level, where the citizen is voicing themselves. You know, not the politicians, because they just speak a lot and do little. And we will do it legal, we'll do it the lawful way, we will do it the political way, we will do it all the ways that you have to do it, not revolutionary and shooting and fighting, because that never works.
Cool. Nice.
So just so people know. Yeah.
And one other thing I want to mention is if you give, it's $5 or more, you get a tree. So if you gift $5 or more as a pledge, you receive a gift equally so as a tree that's planted on the Earth Haven, South Africa right now. And they're creating a forest there to support all sorts of life, tree plants and a tree.
Yeah, look, a tree,
fruit trees.
you plant, a tree you plant, and it's there for all life. Even though I'm planting a tree now in South Africa, that tree provides air in the future. And that air will reach your lungs no matter where you are on this planet at some point. You know, so just consider if Earth Haven moves all around the Earth, we'll be planting trees all around the Earth. And we'll create new forests, we'll create new environments, or we'll rehabilitate the old ones that used to be there. Because you need to plant at least 7 billion trees a year, make up for what we cut down a year.
Wow.
7 billion. That is a lot.
And that will be one of the missions, is tree planting for sure.
Yes, that's always a mission.
Yeah.
Plant trees.
Awesome. All right, Gian, it was a pleasure talking to you, discussing with you Earth Haven. Grateful for you. And yeah, any closing words you have?
No, I'm pretty much all done. I keep thinking in the background there you have a portrait of stairs that is walking up a pyramid.
No, it's just a little carpet design.
Okay.
Trying to make a studio feel here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Garb.
That was in my kitchen. All right, Gian. Yeah.
That's all for tonight from my side. I mean, I can always keep on talking and talking and talking, so I prefer to just go. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been an hour, so I think that was enough for the basics, and we'll definitely continue these Hangouts in the future. If you have any questions or comments, please leave below in this Hangout video in the description or in the comment section. It'll be all over the place, Facebook, YouTube, Google Plus, and all those places. So they'll definitely be far and wide. And thanks for listening. Till next time. Bye.
Thank you.